Previously.
I figured out why Agnes Crumplebottom is the way she is. Spoiler, both of her husbands died. I went over to the Devon haunt estate and proved that ghosts exist. I wonder what my next case will be. A fresh start is invigorating, no matter if it's a new town, school, car, or house. It's a brand new chapter in your life, almost a bittersweet moment. Unless it gets ruined instantly. Like, if you find out the new town smells like rotten tuna at 3 p.m. The new school is filled with bullies that like to give out wedgies. The new car actually has some engine issues caused by fire ants. Or there was a murder at your new home. I was relaxing in my office on a Monday morning when Devon came to visit me. Devon was new to the city of San Myshuno. She had grown sick of her life and wanted a fresh start. So, Devon and her husband packed up their life and drove across Sim Nation to live in the city with their daughter. The fast pace of the city was the change that they needed. However, something that they didn't need or want was the mystery that came with their new apartment at 21 Chic Street. Upon arriving at their new home, they were immediately met by a body tape outline in the middle of their living room. They couldn't remove it, but that was okay. They planned to replace the flooring in there anyways. Once they tried replacing the hardwood floors with new ones, for some reason, the body tape outline didn't budge. So Devon wants me to look into it. I let her know I'd come to visit within the next few days and to be expecting me. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to be able to solve this one. I'm good at stories, Sims, and solving those types of mysteries. I'm not really good at being a scientist, and science would be the only thing to explain this. Body tape not budging even after ripping out the old floor and replacing it? That sounds like a flaw in the fabric of our reality. Either way, I figured why not check it out, at least. So I traveled over to Devon's apartment and knocked on the door. Devon's husband, Amir, answered the door. He let me in and took me straight to the issue. There it was, in all of its glory, the body tape. I looked at it for a while. It was very unusual and I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't budge. I let them know that this was outside my area of expertise, which they were okay with. They weren't sure of who else to call. The police didn't care about it. The scientist labs in the 2 neighboring cities didn't pick up when they tried calling. No one else cared. I suggested maybe putting a nice rug on top of it and calling it a day. That seems to be the only thing that would work. I know it's not the best solution, but it's the only one they got, unless they wanted to look at this body outline every day. They agreed with me on that. Devon proposed that maybe we could check out some of the local stores for a new rug, and I agreed. I haven't really been to the city in a while, thus making this a perfect excuse to peruse local antique shops and thrift stores. It was truly beautiful in the city. Winterfest time was in full swing. We did end up finding a rug that she liked. She asked an employee to keep the rug on hold for her, just so she can ensure it'll fit properly within the space. With our mission accomplished, it was time to part ways. I thanked her for the fun afternoon, and that was that. Or so I thought. The very next morning, I received a phone call from the San Myshuno police department. Apparently, Devon never returned home, and I was the last person to see her. I immediately rushed out the door and headed back into the city. As I got to the police station, I felt like I was being followed. Despite that, I made my way inside. After talking to the front desk, I was escorted by a detective to the chief of police's office. Not going to lie, but I was quite intimidated by this whole experience. Despite being a freelance private investigator, I've never really been in a police station since I was a child.
Wow, if it isn't Cher. How long has it been? 10? 12 years now?
Oh, wow, yeah, something like that. I didn't recognize you for a second.
Didn't recognize me. I look the exact same way that I've always had. You, on the other hand, you've grown up. You're the spitting image of your mother. You don't have braces still, do you?
No, haven't had those in a very long time. I wasn't expecting to see my mom's old police partner today. Honestly, I haven't thought about Jackie in many years. I guess you could say that my family and her didn't leave as best of friends after my mom's disappearance.
I wish we were meeting under more favorable circumstances. Unfortunately, we're here to discuss a missing person, Devon Aoki. I was a little taken aback when I saw your name was mentioned in relation to this case. I'm sure you can understand why that might be a bit alarming. Her husband Amir hasn't seen or heard from her since she left their apartment with you yesterday afternoon. We need to ask you a few questions about what you did, where you went, and if you saw anything unusual. Detective Holmes will take it from here.
The questions were pretty average. What time did we leave the apartment? Did we meet up with anyone else? Where did we go? It was weird being on the other end of questioning. It's normally me asking the questions. Either way, I answered each question to the best of my ability. It was going pretty smoothly until they asked me how I knew Devon.
Let me get this straight. She called you about a police-issued body tape outline. Why didn't she call, the police?
She said the police weren't really interested in it.
Strange. You said that you weren't friends with her beforehand? You didn't know her at all?
No, I met Devon for the first time a few days ago when she visited my office and asked me if I would investigate the tape. Normally, I don't accept jobs like that, but I don't really have much going on lately, and wanted to see if I could help. It's been pretty slow this holiday season.
What do you do for a living again? You're doing your little investigator stuff full time?
I'm a freelance private investigator. Typically, I investigate other Sims, not objects that defy build-buy mode.
Did you ever try to join the Sims in Blue? I'm sure your mom's old precinct would love to have you there. That would have been a nice way of honoring your mom's legacy, and I'm sure that's what she would have preferred.
I, didn't want to join the police force after,
That's a real shame. Your mom would have loved that. I can only imagine how excited she would have been. She was dedicated to her career and would have loved to share that with you.
Well, after everything, I don't really have a high opinion of the police force.
We did everything in our power to bring your mom home. I loved your mom like she was my own flesh and blood. We are sisters. Don't say anything you'll be regretting.
Interesting. I don't recall hearing about you going out to search for her. I don't remember seeing you struggle to raise 4 kids as a single dad while still trying to be able to afford to pay someone to search for her. That private eye discovered more about my mom's disappearance than the whole police force. I doubt anyone even left the station, not even you.
I'm not going to take this conversation to heart. I think your mom would be extremely disappointed in the path you've taken in life. She never liked those greedy private investigators or conspiracy theorists always getting in the way. It's hard to trust someone when all they care about is when they're getting paid. Despite your superficial career choice, we have no reason to keep questioning you about Devon's disappearance. We'll be in touch.
Wow, real mature Jackie, needing to have the last word. It was just like her to end the conversation like that. I couldn't believe the audacity of Jackie. I had to go to somewhere to de-stress. I decided to head on down to Center Park. The park is incredibly beautiful, even though everything is covered in snow. As I walked over to the buskers, I felt that feeling again. I was being watched. I started casually strolling around to see if they were actually following me. And of course they were. Could my day get any better? In fact, it seemed like the situation was worse than I expected. The 2 Sims watching me looked like they're secret agents. I started jogging a bit in hopes of losing them around the park. In my panic, I ended up going inside the community center. Oof, I definitely lost them. Never mind.
Cher, can we talk?
Who are you? How do you know my name?
I'm Agent Jetson, and he's Agent Doesn't Matter. With the SIB, we have a few questions we'd like to ask you.
Alright, let's talk. We went upstairs and sat at the table. They seemed a little unprofessional, but overall like nice people. Is this about Devon Aoki? I've talked to the police about her already today.
Who? No. We've got another case we want to talk to you about.
Twice in a day? This is a record for me.
Have you ever heard about the tragic clown?
No, I have not. After listening to them explain who that was, I was intrigued. Can I see this for myself?
Of course. Back at our office. We can show you. A warning, though. It's a little weird.
We got to their office, which was interesting, since it didn't really seem like somewhere SIB agents would be working from. Furthermore, the office inside didn't look that much better. Despite that, I was excited. If this thing is what they've said it is, then this could be a huge case for me that I would love to work on. Even if I didn't make any money off of this, it could be just the thing I need in my career. A thrilling, high-profile case, working closely with the SIB, and maybe getting my name out there to a more affluent clientele. I think Jackie was wrong. My mom would be very proud of me and my choices, and I'm going to prove it.
Don't be scared if you start crying. Everybody does. Jared did for like an hour.